Hi, I'm Kelsey, pediatric nurse practitioner and owner of Nested Sleep. Thanks so much for joining today. Today I wanted to talk to you about the topic I've been thinking about making a video for so long, and that is your toddler's co-sleeping to crib transition. Many parents come to me with a history of co-sleeping with their baby or toddler or even preschooler and want to transition them to their own sleep space but have no idea how. So today I'm going to give you the order of events to get your child sleeping independently in their own crib so you guys can all have a good night's sleep. Now first I want to start with talking about readiness to change. And this video is for someone who is ready to make change, who wants their child to sleep in a separate sleep space. This is not a video to talk you into transitioning your child from a co-sleeping environment to their own sleep space. You have to transition your child when you guys are ready. Now, I do recommend safe sleep guidelines as recommended by American Academy of Pediatrics for children that are in that higher risk period, less than 1 year of age. But if your toddler is a toddler or preschooler that is co-sleeping and you are loving it, then you do not need to change that unless there are some problems. And some of the things that parents come to me as issues are that you're not getting sleep. You as a parent are not getting sleep, or the child is not getting sleep. Or maybe you're not sleeping with your spouse anymore because of this co-sleeping experience and you want that back. Or maybe you are ready to night wean, or maybe you're not ready to night wean and you don't know how to separate the two. So this can happen, and there is an order of events that will help you through this process. So once you know that you're ready to change, you want to look and assess the environment. So first off, you probably, when you are co-sleeping, you are obviously in the same room. And if your child is greater than 1 year of age, they're going to have that strong connection to sleeping in the same room as you. But you also are going to get a much better night's sleep if they are in their own room. Now that can be with a shared space with a sibling, or it can be within their own room, but transitioning them to a crib within your room will be a little harder because they're going to wake up in the crib and they're going to look over and they're going to see you, and that can really prolong the night awakenings. So having them transition from the co-sleeping environment into their own room is going to be the better option when you're ready to make this transition. Now, you are going to want to get a crib. And this is often a conversation that I have with my clients because a lot of times when we're working on transitioning from a co-sleeping environment to their own sleep environment, they often are older, right? So they're often 12 months, 13 months, 15 months, 18 months, even 2.5. And so the parents are like, well, do I have to get a crib or can I just transition them to a bed? And I really recommend transitioning them to a crib, even if it's just for a short period of time. So even if your child is 2.5 and you're like, probably only gonna have a crib for the next 6 months or so, it is a much easier transition from the co-sleeping environment to a crib environment because there is a physical boundary. So when you were co-sleeping, you yourself were the physical boundary. Your child was with you. If they started to try to get out of bed, you would kind of cuddle them in. And so you were that physical boundary. And now they need to have a physical boundary to know that this is my new sleep space. So this crib is my new sleep space. So I really recommend the transition to a crib versus a toddler bed or any other kind of floor bed situation because of that physical boundary. And why is a physical boundary helpful? One of the main reasons is that kiddos don't have developmentally impulse control to stay in one spot to sleep from a younger age. That impulse control to know that, oh, this is my bed, I'm gonna curl up here and go to sleep, starts to happen more at 3 to 3.5 for most children. And so if we can keep them in that more defined sleep space of the crib, that helps set the boundary. It helps set the routine of them knowing exactly where they're going to sleep every night, and it can just make the transition much smoother. Now, of course, depending on your child's age, you are going to want to look at their height within a crib. You are going to want to make sure the crib is at the lowest level possible, and check your crib's guidelines on what your child's height can be and where it sits within their chest. So that's something you want to look at. If it is just going to be a relatively short period of time, you also can consider switching and transitioning to a pack and play or a travel crib if it's not something you want to make a large investment of for a shorter period of time. Okay, so once you assess that new environment, you are going to want to choose your method, right? So you want to choose which method that you are going to use for making this transition. You're not all of a sudden going to take your child from a co-sleeping environment, put them in a crib in a different room and say like, okay, good night, this is it. This is probably why you've been co-sleeping for so long for many people, is that they don't know how to make the transition. And so you're going to want to choose a method that is right for you and your child. How do you know what that is? Well, the biggest thing is knowing what you can be consistent with and what is developmentally appropriate. So a type of a method that is putting a child in a crib and then leaving them and coming back to check on them at set intervals, the leave and check method, some people call it, that tends to work much, much better for younger babies. Whereas when you have a toddler or preschooler and you're transitioning from a co-sleeping environment to a crib, you are going to want to have a much more gradual approach because they've been used to sleeping with you for probably so long. If they are in, that 12, 13, 15, 18 months, it's been a long time. And so you want to have a gradual approach that they feel safe in their new environment and understand what's going on. So for most families that I work with one-on-one, I recommend that gradual approach and a very parent-present approach. So typically I recommend the chair method, which is when you are starting right next to your child's crib, sitting in a chair, and every few nights you're gradually moving away. You can check out, I have a blog on Sleep Training 101, and it goes through a number of different methods that you can look at and talk with your partner about and see what you feel like you can be the most consistent with. And then lastly, you want to have appropriate language. And so with positive discipline, which I have certifications in, I talk with families a lot about being kind and firm. So you want to validate your child's emotion over this new experience that they're going through, right? And so they are going to be mad. They might be frustrated. They might be sad. You want to validate whatever they're feeling. So an example of what that could look like could mean that if your child was crying or if they were really yelling and they seemed mad, you could say, you seem really mad. You seem really angry. And mommy or daddy is right here with you as you're falling asleep. So you have that kindness and the firmness that are combined together to help your child understand this new situation that they're going through. And it takes a couple of nights for them to understand this new process that they're going through. Routine charts can also be really, really helpful for just that visual understanding that many toddlers and preschoolers really resonate with. You can check out under my free resources. I have bedtime routine charts that can help your child with this transition, or you can make one on your own with your child. Lastly, important, find your support system. So that might be your partner, that might be grandparents, that might be friends. That is who is going to help you when you're tired for a couple of days, because this is a process. The whole process from a toddler or preschooler's transition from co-sleeping to a crib often takes about 10 days to 2 weeks as a whole to get naps going well, to get bedtime going well, and to get the overnights falling into place. And of course, if you need any one-on-one support, need a personalized sleep plan and want someone to guide you through this process, I'm here and would love to chat with you. So feel free to book a free discovery call so we can make this co-sleeping to crib transition for your toddler together. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Let me know in comments how this worked for you, and continue to follow along for sleep and positive discipline parenting tips from Nested Sleep. Have a good day.